Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we are looking at Prime number 15 by one of my favorite comic book pencilers of all time, George Perez. What? You've never heard of this? Yeah, the 90s were an interesting time in the career for George Perez. Cannot wait to show it to you. Look at this dope cover. Can't wait to get into it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button and let's get right into it. Malibu Comics, where do I start? So interesting. Malibu was like the first publisher of Image, eventually bought by Marvel. They had all these great characters. Like, I feel like, outside of DC and Marvel, it's so hard to do interesting comic book characters, superheroes that people will like and buy and stand the test of time. I feel like a lot of the Malibu characters were great, some really great books. They got some top tier talent, as you can see, like George Perez here. And then I think Marvel kind of killed it after they bought them. I don't know if they were too comparable. I don't know what the full story is. But in the 90s, Perez had jumped ship from Marvel and DC and went to publishers like Malibu and CrossGen and even self-publishing with Image and Event Comics with Crimson Plague. So, we're used to the George Perez drawing Teen Titans and Avengers and all that good stuff. And I feel like this is possibly, or no, I'm not even going to say that because I don't want to say the wrong thing. The year is 1994. Malibu Comics is putting out some pretty darn good comic books up to issue 15. So they have a little bit of longevity here. And then you have this masterful cover by George Perez. Prime is sort of like, I feel like Norm Brayfogle is mostly known for Prime, and this is definitely like a different incarnation of the character. He's pretty much the Malibu universe's roided up Superman in a lot of ways. Len Straczynski and co-writing with someone else that I don't really want to mention. George Perez, penciler, Dennis Jensen, inker, Dave Lanphier, letterer, Robert Alvord, color design, Violet Hughes with Emily Yoder, interior color, Violet Hughes. That's a great name. Hank Canals, editor, and Scott Bierstein, assistant editor. Anyway, look at the Perez goodness. I am digging the Dennis Jensen inks. Aside from himself, it's very hard to find a good inker for Perez. For years, Romeo Tanghal did a pretty good job on the Titans. I really liked Austin's early inks on Perez for a lot of like X-Men and Avengers covers. I feel like Alvey did a pretty good job. Let's see. I mean, check out this roided up character, Prime. Do you guys remember Prime? He definitely looked more Superman. This is like them 90s him up with the chains and the, I don't know, the excessive like long hair and hairiness. It's very like Lobo, don't you think? It's so interesting to see Perez draw characters that aren't Marvel or DC, further proving that he can just make anyone look freaking awesome. Although I have to say, I do kind of like Prime. Like I said, I did have a slight affection for some of these Malibu books. I did love Ultra Force because, of course, Perez was drawing it. And, you had like Terry Dodson on Mantra and, I'm knowing Prototype and like just so many kind of cool characters. But I remember like really liking this Prime story arc, and I'm sure it was mostly because of the Perez art. I mean, he's fighting like, which is basically like zombies here. Very cool. Like, I think Perez is definitely capturing a horror element going on, like fighting zombies in a haunted house kind of situation. Like, how cool is that? Not the usual fare you would get from Perez, but like I keep repeating myself, further proving that the man can draw anything, any genre, and just make it fun and exciting. It's funny because I think that a lot of people lament superhero comics, and that was pretty much my, main source of entertainment and inspiration as far as comic books were concerned growing up. And, I have to say, like, it sounds narrow, comic books, but, like, take an example, like, I've given the X-Men, one minute they're in space, the next they're fighting Dracula, the next they're, in the Old West or something. So it's like you're getting different genres all over the place within the confines of a superhero comic book. How cool is that? I mean, George Perez drawing a I'm gonna guess boa constrictor. That's kind of comical in a way. Oh my god, that's like super comical and horrifying in a way. It's really this woman and he's snapping her neck, but I don't know, it's all trickery, fuckery, and illusion, hypnosis, poisoning, hallucination. I'm sure a lot of that's going on there. And who is this creepy queen smoking a joint? I mean, and if you know who wrote this, I'm sure there are problematic elements, but look, that's a pretty cool looking voodoo character. I mean, I don't go near it much. I mean, obviously, as far as practicing or anything, because voodoo, everybody says don't mess with voodoo, but the genre is endlessly fascinating, right? I really want like a killer brother voodoo series. Is that asking for too much? And then this is your cue to go in the comments and say, but Michael, there is a killer brother voodoo story, and it's Tales of Mystery number 75 or something like that. You know, that was just an example. So don't check my facts because there are none in that last statement. None. Perez's storytelling was just always so good. I mean, he, you know, it's funny because he had the fundamentals, you know, even as a new artist, like, you could just tell he was going to be exciting, and he just has, like, everything you need for a great classic comic book artist. Like, he draws everything well. He can tell a story. It's all, you know, nothing's confusing. It's exciting. I mean, he's very innovative because he definitely came into a time of comics where, you know, there was a lot more traditionalism, but I feel like he was kind of always pushing the boundaries. And anytime you can end a comic book with a skeleton leaning against a tree and smoking a cigar, I 100% recommend that you do that. So that's got to be like Brave Vocals art. Dear Prime people, Prime Directive. I mean, that's kind of a funny, what do you call it? Letters column, masthead thing. Yeah, props to Dennis Jensen for like doing a great job inking Perez, because not an easy task, I would imagine. I totally don't remember that cover. And it's Perez and Ordway. Oh my god. Like, where was I? Did I lapse into a coma for a month and miss out? Although it was the 90s. This is the beginning of my club years and stuff like that. So, you know, it gets a little sketch. And plus, comics got a little sketch, too. But anyway, there was still some greatness in the 90s. And here it is. Rafferty by whoever the hell that is. The killing never stops. Interesting. Interesting way to appeal to readers, right? Uh-oh. Oh my god. Damage to my book. How dare it. Anyway. Prime, number 15. George Pérez. Enough said. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel. Hit like, share my content, and I'll bring you more soon.